want us to cover that.
Take two. All right, here we go. We're live. Fugitive Watch. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. We had a little glitch. How you doing, Scott?
I'm doing okay. I still don't seem to be able to see the I can't see the YouTube
oh, okay. Well, we haven't got there yet. I'm just saying hi right now. Hi, Steve.
Oh. Hey, Mark, how you doing, man?
What's going on, man? What happened today? Where were you at?
Keep up the good work. Oh, I attended a funeral for a cousin of mine that I grew up with.
I'm very sorry about that.
Yeah, it was real tragic. He had a heart attack while he was taking the grandkids to Disney World in Florida.
Oh, really? Had to get him out from Florida?
Yeah, it was terrible. It was real sad.
Okay. All right. Well, we're sorry about that. Okay, so we're at fugitive.com. This is our live stream. It's Monday night, what time is it? 7:07, 7:10. We had a little glitch there to begin with. I'm Mark Hinch, retired California Highway Patrol. I'm with Scott Castrita. I had to think about that for a second. And Steve Verdeen, both retired San Jose police officers and the co-creators of Fugitive Watch, which is where you're watching us on, Fugitive Watch. A lot going on today. We're going to start it off with our caper over in Pittsburgh, where these two young ladies were picked up for kicking a dog. I'm sure all of you saw it, but let's go into the stories a little bit. Let's watch a couple of the stories that break down what happened, and then we've got some thoughts on how all this went down. But let's bring you up to speed. I'm going to warn you guys, this is kind of raw, so be careful. You might not like what you're about to see.
And what seems to be a pretty disturbing case of animal cruelty out of Pittsburgh has made a lot of people incredibly mad online.
Yes.
Police say they have found two women who were allegedly caught on camera kicking a tiny dog and flashing a gun during a dispute. This happened near Old Town in a driveway. Our Andrea Nakano has more and has a warning to you. Some of the video in this story you might find to be disturbing.
The good news is Gigi, the dog, is now back home as she recovers from her injuries. The owner, Albert Lopes, says he cannot talk about this case, but he shares the story of his dog's recovery.
We can talk about it, though.
You yelling at my mama over there? I didn't yell at her.
That disc between her shoulders on her spine it affects many parts of her because.
You yelling at my mama. There's so many jokes I can go with that right now. Remember those old jokes back in the day?
Yeah. Yo, mama.
Yo, mama.
It's nerves.
Gigi is improving every day after suffering injuries in an unprovoked attack. She takes a few steps, but mostly spends her time cuddling with her dad.
She's going to get every bit of loving and everything she needs that I could possibly give her.
This happened last week after Albert Lopes got into a verbal confrontation with two women. It ends with one of them violently kicking Gigi several feet.
Best case scenario, time and love. Worst case scenario, surgery, and hopefully she recovers.
This incident has shocked this community in Pittsburgh.
We've been here for many years and no one's ever, I think the only complaint is just people picking up their dog poop, but everything else is just like very, as you can tell, very quiet, very family oriented, very no issues at all.
But video of Gigi getting kicked went viral and leads started pouring in about the two women responsible.
We're going to talk about that in a second here.
Detectives quickly identified Lagashia Williams and Graciela Amar as the suspects. Both were arrested in Oakland Thursday night. Many say they just want justice served for Gigi.
Yeah, so you guys all remember when animals get killed and hurt, what happens, right?
Oh, yeah. It's a big deal.
It's a big deal, bigger than some humans getting hurt or killed.
A dispute, a disturbing video that's gone viral, and the search for a woman accused of kicking a family pet. Tonight, Pittsburgh police say they're looking for information on this woman caught on camera kicking a small dog hard enough to send it flying.
Okay, she's been arrested. We'll go over that in a second.
Dispute. Now, both neighbors say the other side is to blame. We do have to give you a heads up on this and warn you that the video is a bit hard to watch. Here's NBC Bears' Jody Hernandez.
She's like an infant. She's a baby. She's tiny, tiny.
That's why Albert Lopes can't understand why anyone would try to hurt his little dog, Gigi. But a dispute with his neighbor last week ended with a woman caught on camera kicking the little dog hard enough to send her flying.
She hit
got the replay
planter right here. I mean,
Wow.
Horrible.
she hit it hard. It wasn't like she got kicked and tumbled. She got kicked and smashed against the planter is what happened.
Lopes posted the video on social media where it's gone viral.
If it hits home, it hits home. And this one, I didn't think it hit that hard, and it did.
Lopes says it all started when he confronted his 68-year-old neighbor after she ran over his plant.
Okay, I got issues with this. 68-year-old running over plants. We'll talk about that in a second. We're gonna get the other. We're gonna get the other side of the story here in a second. It's very interesting. Watch this.
You yelling at my mama over there?
Your mama.
He says next thing he knew, the woman's daughter and granddaughter came over, and he claims began threatening him with a gun. That's when he picked up his 17-year-old dog, Miko, to go inside to call police.
No, I'm gonna call the police.
Lope says that's when the woman instructed her
Whoa.
daughter to kick Gigi.
I want to put closure to this and justice for her. That's, Miss Gigi deserves.
I want
every
prison
bit of it
time.
because she was innocent in this whole matter.
Pittsburgh
Doesn't that bring back memories of when your mother told you to kick a dog?
aware of the video and are investigating. But Albert's neighbor says the video doesn't tell the whole story.
It doesn't. Check this out.
Upset at me, disrespected me, and cursed me out. They don't know that part.
That neighbor, the grandmother who Albert says ran over his plant, claims the dog owner was
Okay, let's just assume that the disrespecting me and cursing me out part is true. Does that justify kicking the dog? Brandishing a gun?
Nope.
Did they show the gun? Did they? I didn't. See
Apparently,
that.
they showed they banished it there. I don't think you can see it on video, but that was his claim. But we'll get into the gun here in a little bit. But that's grandma. I believe the other lady is grandma, the one that they're defending by coming over here.
Right.
Okay.
That's what it appears to be.
and insists her daughter didn't have a gun. She says she doesn't agree with her granddaughter kicking the dog, but believes it was a reflex.
My granddaughter got upset about him talking to her mom like that. She kicked the dog out the way. The dog was coming toward my granddaughter, and that's what happened.
Hold on.
Says the video
Let's see that.
itself. He started a go.
Yeah, I didn't see the dog come towards anybody.
No.
So I feel sorry for this old lady in the sense where I'm not sure if she saw the video, but it was all over the news. I'm not sure if they interviewed her prior to the news showing that footage everywhere on social media. So she's defending her granddaughter, her mom, but it's obvious what's going on here. We'll get into the hunt of it in a second. I would say that grandma, I feel bad for you. I want your license. I want them to check your license. Obviously you're having issues driving at 68 years old. And Steve, you're like what, 95? You still drive good, right? So
pushing it.
so I don't know. We got, but yeah, obviously there's some issues there. Did she see the video? I don't know. I'm being a little cruel right now, maybe to grandma, but I'm just so outraged that any of your grandchildren or daughter would think that was okay to do that. And obviously bringing a gun to a dispute like this. I thank God this guy has cameras this is all documented, at least as far as what happened on that side of the truck. Because can you imagine if the cameras weren't there and this went down, then it's a he said, she said type of thing?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sure there'd be a whole lot of lying going on right there. I mean, they still tried to lie, even though the video clearly, allegedly shows her allegedly kicking, allegedly the dog.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what kind of mother allegedly tells her daughter to kick a little dog?
I know.
What kind
Yeah. You imagine, Steve, your mom you found out that you kicked the dog.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's to bring back memories of. Yeah, we've all had our mothers tell us to kick a dog before.
Okay, so let's talk about the hunt that went down there. Obviously, he posts this to social media. Pittsburgh is going to get this. They're going to put it on social media. Nothing will rile up a community more than an animal being abused. And I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. It's just the fact that, someone can get shot and killed. And I'm telling you from my own experience, being a police officer, and you guys in San Jose, you know what I'm talking about. When an animal gets killed, innocent on something like this, someone throws a dog out on the freeway or a roadway or shoots a dog or something like that, that's innocent. It's a big deal.
I remember back in the day we were doing Fugitive Watch. Steve, remember before all the heavy duty social media, we just had the I think we had the website and we had the TV show. Remember the guy threw the dog out the window in San Jose?
Yeah, that was the one.
Wow, that thing just was. I remember saying, I've seen people killed and the community did not react like they did to this.
I mentioned this on a live stream. I think we talked about this case last week or a week before, but I was at that deputy DA's office later that week after the guy had been arrested. Some sort of Navy vet dude that was doing a bunch of accident scams and stuff too. I remember because the Highway Patrol was looking. I think they were part of the hunt for that guy. He found he had allegedly staged an accident up a Devil Slide. It's the same guy I'm thinking of. But I remember talking to the prosecutor when we were bringing him our investigation, and he had roses and cards and boxes of gift baskets in his office sent to him from all around the world because he was the prosecutor filing the case on the guy who killed the dog.
Yeah.
And he goes, sadly, there are guys down the hall from me trying murderers that have killed children and juveniles, and they're not getting the attention I'm getting because I'm going after the guy who killed the dog.
Oh, yeah. You remember, Scott?
I think it's people's innate ability inside them when you see something defenseless or something that can't, it brings that thing out in people where they just it gets them.
I want this lady in prison. I want her in prison. I want her and her mama in prison together for at least a couple of years at least.
Mark, we had a case we featured years ago where some guy had run over a bunch of ducks at a pond at the Classic Car Wash.
That's right.
And they raised $25,000 reward to try to identify the suspect.
I think we talked about all this last week. We're all getting
I remember that. I think a better punishment, not necessarily a punishment, but some life teachable moment here would be to have them work at a dog shelter and have to volunteer time, clean up some dog poop and walk some dogs. And I think they don't need to go to prison for that.
Well, how about
I think prison. I think prison's a good one for a couple of years.
Sign at the intersection say, "I will not kick puppies anymore."
That's part of it. Before prison.
Remember the judge made that guy stand out there or hold a sign?
Yes. Yeah. All right. So let's talk about the hunt for these fugitives. Okay. So what do we know? So they're going to post it on social media. They're going to obviously the cops are going to run out they're going to talk to the grandma. Okay. Who are your daughters? Who's your daughter's name? What's your granddaughter's name? Even if she doesn't give it up, they're going to be able to do a search of the address. They're going to find who's associated to her. I'm sure either the daughter or maybe the granddaughter has associations to that address in Pittsburgh, and they're going to pull it up on their systems, and they're going to say, okay, this is going to be so-and-so, this is going to be so-and-so. But then they're also going to have addresses of these people associated to Oakland where they found them, correct? They found them in Oakland?
They found them in Oakland.
So right away on the what the detectives in Pittsburgh are going to do, what they probably did is right away sent their unmarked units out there. Maybe they got help from other teams, whether it be some of the other crime teams that are working, maybe one of these two individuals on probation or parole, they may get them involved, and they're going to set the unmarks in on surveillance within those neighborhoods where those people are known to be hanging out at, and maybe what vehicles they're driving. They're also going to know what vehicles were brought to and from that residence. They're going to be looking for. They're going to be looking for anything associated with these two individuals. and then they just set on that for a couple days until they see them and make their move and arrest them. I'm assuming that's how it went down.
I thought they were neighbors.
That's their mom's house, but the women were arrested in Oakland.
I think the grandmother's the neighbor, I believe, not the
right.
Not
The grandmother,
the
the mother of the mother in the video, mother. Right. So I'm just talking about how the fugitive hunt went down. Right. So they're not there. Right. They know they screwed up. They brandished a gun, and they kicked the dog.
Is that illegal in Oakland?
This is in Pittsburgh. Remember?
I know.
Pittsburgh.
Well,
Okay.
okay, but maybe it carries over. I'm just saying, maybe
And
everybody
it
has
was
a
the gun. Was the gun turned out to be legit or real or what? Or was it fake or what?
You know, they really didn't. They didn't cover that in the news
Right.
story.
Right. So interesting. I'm glad they caught it. It's going to be interesting to see what the. I can't imagine the grandmother's going to be able to stay living in Pittsburgh. I think the neighbors are going to run her out.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being in that house on the block?
She's not going to be too popular.
Yeah, again,
Yeah, I
God
just
forbid if it's a rented house, if they don't own it, I could see the landlords evicting them. I can see all these type of things that could repercussions that could happen.
Exactly.
You know,
I just hope the guy with the dog.
if they were my tenant, I'd find a way to evict them, or when their lease is up, they're out. You're gone.
They're out. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You are tough, man.
I am brutal.
Brutal.
He's working the hard
Justice for
streets
Gigi.
the hard streets of 101.
The hard streets of 101. There we go. Someone's got to handle the felons by themselves. That's us, the CHP.
Yeah.
So
The mean streets of 101.
That's right. The 101 if you're from LA. All right. What else is happening? What else going on besides Gigi? We got justice for Gigi here. That was good.
Well, Mark, if you want to, we can go to the story of the home invasion that was caught on camera, and one of the victims was armed with a gun and actually got into a shootout with one of the home invaders.
That's victim Benjamin Nevers.
Nevers, yes, Nevers.
Okay, Nevers. All right.
Yeah.
All right. This is a YouTube age restricted.
Age restricted.
That means there's going to be some stuff here we don't want to show. So
you might try. There you go.
Okay, I'll play the video and then we can talk about it. Hold on a second.
Okay, very good.
All right, so this is real quick. Just give me the 10-second rundown. What's going on here, Steve?
Yeah, basically, two men go into this victim's house allegedly to do a home invasion, and they're armed, and allegedly, and this victim here is in his bedroom, and here's what's going on, and tells his girlfriend to turn away. She's in the bed behind him. You can't see her. And he's waiting for them to come in, and once they open the door, he gets into a total shootout with them.
And I want, every time we say the word allegedly, I want to make it come up on the screen. That's gonna be my next goal for next week.
Yeah.
Horrifying moments captured on home security video showing Benjamin Nevers in an early morning shootout with a man who had just broken into his home on North Brookside in Dearborn Heights this past weekend.
My foot's completely shattered. Like it's Dave screws and plates, immediate surgery, and then I got hit in the back right here as well.
That's Benjamin's girlfriend in the bed and in shock.
I know she got shot in the back.
Damn.
And it traveled up, and I know it hit her kidney, and I think it's lodged in her chest right now. They can't get the bullet out because it's too dangerous. So I know they're watching her. I know it's going to be a couple more days.
Benjamin says he and a buddy just got back from the Bahamas and were looking for a quiet, relaxing night when two suspects appeared on security video, breaking in through a kitchen window and milling around the house. His friend was held down at gunpoint in the living room.
And I woke up, and I was just quick enough to react and grab my gun and cock it. And I just sat there and kind of waited. I knew they were going to come to my room.
As soon as that gunman came in, mayhem ensued. An outside camera caught the injured suspect struggling to leave the house. Police arrested the suspected shooter, identified by investigators as Philip Price, now facing assault with intent to murder.
That's awesome.
other
He got a
charges.
little rake to the left there.
21 count indictment.
We believe they did know each other.
Yeah.
And at some point, Price knew there were objects in the house he was going for.
And the bag that they tried to get was right there, and there was a bottle of Don Julio in it, and a chocolate bar, and then there was a studio microphone that I have. Like, these guys did this for nothing. Yeah, I'm just happy everybody's, alive and well. I mean, I really did. I'm kind of glad the guy who shot me is still alive too. I don't want to kill nobody.
Hey, as long as no dogs were kicked.
Malignant narcissism isn't just a case of having an inflated sense of superiority and a huge sense of entitlement. What we often see is an absence of morality.
What was that?
I don't know. There's playing some video. All right, let's talk about this real quick.
Mark, what I don't want to criticize or victim shame the victim here, but I don't know if this state that this is Michigan. I don't know if it's one of those states where any fool can carry a gun state, without any training or licensing.
That's going to be another word. We're going to have allegedly, and any fool carry a gun every time Steve says that. It's going to pop up on the screen.
But you know what? I'm 100% defending yourself in your home, and arming yourself in your home. But you need to know what you need to be trained. You need to train yourself, and you need to prepare yourself. If you're carrying your weapon for self-defense, it's the same thing I used to tell recruits, and when I was on FTO, you can't wait till something happens and then try to. And what do I do? You have to have already played in your mind. If this happens, I already know what I'm going to do, because if you wait till it happens, it's too late.
We all know that he could have maybe took cover to one side or the other first. Maybe he's protecting his girlfriend. I don't know,
he could have pushed the dresser drawer in front of the door.
Yeah.
He could have moved to one side instead of in front of the door.
In his defense,
I'm not victim shaming. I'm not victim shaming him. I'm just saying I'm trying to tell people out in the real world, if this is why you have a gun, train yourself, prepare yourself mentally, as well as how you handle the gun so you don't drop it.
Right.
I get that, but I'm just saying, in his defense, we can only imagine. We've been in situations, and it probably unfolded so fast. Maybe he woke up. And you can imagine, you wake up and you're like, what the hell's going on? He hears these guys out there. He knows something bad is coming through that door. And of course,
he saw it. He saw them, and then he went and waited for him to come to the door.
Yeah. I mean, our thoughts, of course, is, I would have pulled the bed away from the wall, told the girl, get down. I would have pushed her back there and then but you know what? It probably unfolded so quick. And I mean, and at the same time, I mean, he was getting hit by gunfire. I mean, it was a toe-to-toe gunfight. And
I would have told the dog kicking girl that guy talked shit about her grandma.
But my comments are more for the gun carrying public out there. Not for him.
But I think he did everything generally. You got to do what you got to do. Who knows what would have happened if whatever. And he's definitely right. I mean, they're even in California right now. They're trying to come up with this law, or maybe get away with our home defense laws. And I'm not a fan of it. I think you should be able to defend your home. So I don't think that will happen. I think the politics are swinging to the middle. So you should be able to defend your home, though.
Absolutely.
And let's talk about something else though about this. So your experience with home invasion robberies. Did you guys catch what the cop said at the end there? They knew each other,
right?
Meaning, when most of the time when a home invasion happens, that's usually the key, right?
I would say more than less than my experience has been is that the home invader is familiar with the victim, and the victim's familiar with the home invaders,
right? Or at least in some sense in San Jose, it could be one particular community targets the similar people of their community, because there's a lot of jewelry kept there, or a lot of stuff there, or in cases of illegal activity, drug dealer, something like that, they're going to want the drugs and cash or weapons that are involved there. So that's why they target someone, because they know that,
he made
there's
it
going to
sound
be
like They
Yeah.
were just after a bottle of Don Julio and
No,
and a,
yeah.
and a chocolate
don't-
bar. And I
Maybe
got
you
a
thought there was
feeling
more.
maybe there was something else. But the thing I keep trying to bring up to you guys here, I'll try it now, is
No.
I was talking about the weapon of choice too for home defense. And the one thing that people need to consider, and I was asked that question hundreds of times in my career when I would go to these meetings. What's the best weapon? What's the best gun I should carry? Well, first of all, we all know the one that you train with. But the one thing is, you understand if you're like him, he's just throwing rounds. I don't blame him. He's trying to defend himself. But those bullets now belong to him, and we've all seen it. Police officers have accidentally killed people 3 houses away,
Right.
in the back of a store. That wasn't their intent, but that's your bullet. And one of the things I know myself, and I've always given people a recommendation. Myself was a pistol grip short shotgun, something that's not going to penetrate the walls and kill people in the other rooms, that aren't going to hit my neighbors. It's something to consider. But if you're going to, whatever you pick, you need to become proficient with it. But just throwing rounds downrange, it can be dangerous too, and it's something that people should consider when they're deciding what they want to use for home defense. And they should work with that. They should train with it.
You don't want to be responsible for killing some child sleeping in their crib, a couple houses away, because you're just blind.
And we've all seen. I've been to investigations where people have shot at houses, and those bullets have completely gone through one house, through the fence in the backyard, and into the neighbor houses behind. Because if it doesn't hit a solid piece of wood and it's just hitting plaster and it's just hitting chalk, that bullet can keep on going until it hits something. And so it's really something to consider. I mean, I've seen 9mm make it through almost 2 houses. So it's really something you got to think about if you're gonna have a home defense weapon.
All right, let's move over to this is a sad one out in New Jersey. Steve, this officer was shot and killed by a 14-year-old suspect.
Yeah, this is a very tragic story. This officer was killed by a 14-year-old suspect armed with a handgun that had an extended magazine, who fired just an unbelievable number of rounds at the officer and his partner. The partner is still in the hospital, I believe.
Joseph Ascona.
Yes, Ascona. Mm-hmm.
All right,
The suspect too, right? The suspect's not dead yet.
Let's watch it.
Another big story we are following tonight in Newark. An officer hit during a shootout continues to fight for his life in the hospital. This as a family and police department mourn an officer shot and killed in the line of duty.
Detective Joseph Ascona, a 5-year veteran of the Newark Police Department, was just 26 years old. His alleged killer, a 14-year-old who now faces murder and attempted murder charges.
Eyewitness News reporter Anthony Carlo has more from Newark.
It's the worst call any law enforcement family can receive. As one officer recovers here at University Hospital, the family of the other plans a funeral. Members of law enforcement came from all over New Jersey to salute the hearse carrying the body of a Newark detective, just 26 years old.
5-year veteran officer Joseph Ascona was shot before he even had the opportunity to leave his police car.
It was a wild shootout between police and an armed 14-year-old boy Friday evening. The barrage of bullets shattering school windows and sending kids running down Broadway. Detective Ascona was working with the feds to rid the streets of illegal guns.
I don't know many people that would have went to that scene knowing that danger lived there.
Detective Ascona and another officer were rushed to the hospital after being shot. Police immediately gathered there, hoping for the best. But at 2:34 a.m., the detective was pronounced deceased.
His mother and his father and approximately 5 brothers were at the hospital mourning him, grieving him.
On the upswing of his career, the 26-year-old made detective just 2 years ago and was assigned to the intelligence unit. The governor calling him and his fellow officer heroes.
Those 2 guys when they went to work yesterday morning, they didn't expect that it was going to end the way it did.
A 14-year-old boy is now charged with Detective Ascona's murder. An automatic firearm believed to be the murder weapon was recovered at the scene.
We need to focus laser sharp on trying to find the reason why this 14-year-old was in the situation that he was. Had a gun, felt he could use it against the police.
Both the surviving officer and the suspect are expected to recover. 5 people are in custody. In Newark, Anthony.
Wow, 5 people in custody, and they don't. I guess they caught him right away.
Yeah, it looks like they did. They did catch him right away.
Yeah,
Wow.
and that's just
14 years old. So let's talk about what do you think? Are they going to try him as an adult? I mean, honestly, I
would think so. I mean, you would hope so at this point.
I don't know what New Jersey's law is regarding that.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's pretty young.
That's one bad seed right there.
That's pretty young. Yeah. So, some of the states, I think most of the states, I think 16 is the cutoff. I don't know how young they'll go for trying somebody as an adult.
Well, I can tell you how the community is going to push for it. Obviously, the association and the law enforcement community is going to push that he be charged as an adult. They're going to lobby for that. I know he's young and stuff like that, but generally you have to think about the better of society. You got to separate these threats. That's just something that, I would not think he'd be out anytime in his 20s at least, if not more. I mean, obviously he kills someone it was up to me. If you try him as an adult, then you probably never see outside of a jail cell again. But there will be a.
How do you fix that? How are you going to fix somebody like that if they're that broken already and they're only 14? I know everybody wants to feel that we can save everybody, but how much time and effort's going to have to go into? And I'm going to tell you right now, what I would love to hear from somebody out there if they know. I'd love to hear what else has this kid done? What type of gang and has he been involved in? What other types of crimes has he committed? How many times has he been put through the system and walked away? And I know everybody, their first thought is, because I know that I saw a lot of comments on our website, everybody right away, they want to go after the parents. They want to make the parents pay. I agree a lot of times, and Steve, I know, and Mark, you'll agree with me. A lot of times kids are a product of their environment, but there are some times when parents have done the best they can, and they may put out 2 or 3 good. They got 2 or 3 good kids, and they got one that goes wild. But I don't know. It's just
heartbreaking.
Mark, Scott and I, we were working 2-man car, and we tried to book a juvenile who had been arrested like 3 or 4 times for auto theft within a week. And we came across him when he had caused a major collision on the freeway, and he was driving a stolen car again. And when we got arrived at the scene, there was citizens holding the car up from.
I remember that
because it was up on the ice plant and they were trying to keep it from flipping over. And we tried to book him in the juvenile hall.
It wouldn't take
and
him.
The juvenile hall wouldn't take him. And they said they wanted the parents to come pick him up. And the parents were pleading with the juvenile hall people, we have no control over him. Keep him, we have no control over him. and juvenile hall said, no, you got to take him.
Yeah.
And sure enough, they took him, and he ran away from home again.
Yeah.
Right.
Where
Probably
is he now?
ran through the neighborhood of Morgan Hills. He got out of the boys' ranch.
Yeah.
Remember those that happened? The alarms would go off and stuff like that?
All the time.
All right. So let's go. We have a murder taken out by firing squad.
Yeah.
This is I know Scott, you had posted something on this. Convicted double murderer Brad Sigmund executed by firing squad in South Carolina. When's the last time they did one of those?
Apparently it's been a really long time.
15 years.
Steve and I were talking about how do you
First at 11, a historic execution.
I'm sorry, say it again.
Steve and I were talking about it. We're like, how do you apply for? I mean, does somebody apply for that job to be on the firing squad, or do you like draw the short or the long?
I think they have volunteers. Let's watch it. See what's up. I haven't seen this one.
In South Carolina, Brad Sigmund chose to die by firing squad, the first in the state.
The condemned inmate was pronounced dead at 6:08 p.m. Sigmund was the first inmate to die by firing squad in the United States in 15 years. He was sentenced to death for killing David and Gladys Lark with a baseball bat in Greenville County in 2001.
We have team coverage tonight as we learn how Brad Sigmund's final moments played out. A WYFF News 4 journalist was one of those witnesses.
Our Nate Stanley is in Columbia with a recap on Sigmund's death by firing squad.
Real quick, we can talk about it when we get done here, but 24 years between the time of the crime to execution, and we could talk about why that is, and that is actually a good thing to let that play out. But we'll talk about it in a second.
Prices of bullets were a lot cheaper back then.
All three witnesses described the execution as quick, and according to one witness, a WIFF News 4 team member, Sigmund almost seemed calm in his final moments.
I did see a splash of blood when the bullets entered his body. It was not a huge amount, but there was a splash that you could see kind of protrude from the wound.
Those were Brad Sigmund's final moments as witnessed by WIFF 4 News team member Anna Dobbins. His execution was the first time a firing squad was used in South Carolina.
His arms flexed. There was something in his midsection that moved. I'm not necessarily going to call them breaths. I don't really know, but there was some movement that went on there for 2 or 3 seconds. It was very fast.
Sigmund was sentenced to death for the 2001 double murder of his ex-girlfriend's parents, David and Gladys Lark, with a baseball bat in Greenville County. The Lark's daughter, Renee, told us David was taking plates of food down to Brad the week before he killed her parents. She also says her parents were always helping people out when they could. Dobbins says Sigmund did not appear fearful moments before he died.
I couldn't see his whole face, but I did not pick up on anything in his expression that would have indicated fear.
The State Department of Corrections confirmed Sigmund was killed by 3.308 caliber bullets fired from long rifles.
From the point where the curtain opened, really, it was a very somber, quiet room outside of the shots being fired.
Witnesses say Sigmund's attorney read his final statement that said, in part, "Remember the words of Jesus, John 7:19. Did not Moses give you the law? Yet none of you keep with the law. We are now under God's grace and mercy." And you can read Brad Sigmund's full final statement on WIFF4.
I'm not interested in that.
Wow, what a description, huh?
Yeah, they really went at it. Not something that has happened a lot. I don't know how they picked I remember, who was that guy like in 1977, Steve? Gary something. I was a kid and he did he chose to be killed by firing squad. Remember? And they had do you remember that in 77 was like the first?
There was one in Utah that was executed by firing squad. I think he was the last one.
Right. Yeah, that's quite a description there, how detailed everything was.
Yeah, and he chose that method. There was 3 methods, and that's the method he chose. The other 2 options were the lethal injection and electrocution.
I just wonder.
I think I would take a firing squad based on those other 2 also, with what I've heard stories on the other 2.
Well, what do you think about the fact that when I posted that, I mean, there was an overwhelming number of people that were asking why it wasn't on pay-per-view or why they couldn't tune in. Why isn't it public? Why can't people watch that want to? And of course, I could see we don't.
Because we're not Rome with the gladiators? I don't know.
Well, they might have been able to recover some of the money they spent keeping them alive for the last 20 some odd years.
If it were going to happen and make it legal, the federal government, this current version might make that into a thing. Who knows?
Yeah. They'll privatize that.
Yeah.
Well,
be on X. They'll be on X. You buy it on X. You can only watch it on X.
There's an anti-death penalty movement. Obviously, they're protesting, and they protest any capital punishment.
Sure.
And I kind of have a unique idea. If you don't want a person to be executed, we should have where you can opt in or opt out on your driver's license You know, if I'm murdered, I don't want the guy who killed me to be executed.
Oh, I
You know,
remember that.
and if you don't opt in or opt out, then you default. You want the person who kills you to be executed.
It's like the donor. It's like the
little donor. Oh, you took my joke, my little donor thing. Here we are laughing about it. Yeah. Well, there's religious issues, and then there's
you satisfy the anti-capital punishment people. Okay, if you know, because I subscribe to the belief that the only person that can really grant forgiveness is the person who was trespassed against, right? The person who was murdered, and that person can't because they're dead. So, you know, but you can opt in or opt out of the death penalty by saying, if I get murdered, don't execute the person that murdered me.
Yeah, there's arguments on the other side of it, but we know the reason why it took this long generally is to let all the appeals go out. And we've learned as a history in the United States that sometimes innocent people have been wrongly executed, and that's why the appeals process is so long. I mean, look at the full what's his name right now, the Scott Peterson, right? He's got this thing going on with some sort of possible reopening of the case because of some the Menendez brothers too, but that was more of a self-defense, right? And we got to kind of give that one. I don't think that I don't think capital was ever on the table for that one because that was more of kind of like allegations against their parents,
right?
But Scott Peterson definitely, you know, this is one where you know they Rich and Alan Davis, right? You know, the obviously these horrible people,
right?
And they just play it out for years and years and years. But now I think there's no more death penalty in California.
Sometimes accountability never does come. And sometimes
right. But the appeals process weeds out all the possibilities of any sort of getting wrong. And there has been malicious prosecution, especially in areas of the South and on the East Coast over the years, where they have convicted the wrong people and executed them. And in some cases, it does happen. So I understand the movement of not to have a death penalty at all. I have no problem with someone sitting in a 6x6 cell for the rest of their life. And I don't want to have the visitation. I don't want them to have the right to get married and marry their love letters. You know,
they can't take the Roomba dance classes.
Yeah, exactly. But that's just me. That's just my opinion. You know. Wow, interesting. Yeah, that's So I was going to ask you about the comments. A lot of comments on there, Scott. Go over them again. Besides,
a lot of comments about people asking why it's not. How come they don't air it? I mean, people refer to it as pay-per-view. So I think what they're saying is that they'd be willing to pay to watch it. It could be morbid. I probably wouldn't be interested in watching it unless it was something that unless it was somebody who directly affected my life.
We've all seen people die in front of us. I don't want to have to watch it. I don't want.
Exactly.
I think though, Scott, Mark, is that those comments are just a manifestation of the frustration that people have with these cases dragging on for 25, 30 years, and it's just it gets to the ridiculous that they drag on so long.
Yeah. I think they've said what were the statistics? I think in California, of so many people on death row, if they were to execute one person a month, it'd take like 70 years or something.
I mean, I think about people like Mark Klass and John Walsh that had to go through this horrible situation, you know, and I can't put my, you know, I don't want to be in their shoes, obviously, and so I have my thoughts and my own beliefs and the death penalty and stuff like that, you know, but I understand someone's grief and revenge and just closure, you know, I get it. And then
it makes it more difficult when you take politicians who use it as for political traction one way or another, you know. And for example, in the people say that California was lenient on the death penalty, but the voters voted for it. I think like 3 times now that they approved that the California voters want the death penalty, but the problem was not so much. You know, California was spending millions of dollars. The attorney general trying to get the death penalty enforced. But the Supreme Court, the appeals court district, federal appeals court California, Oregon, Nevada, we fall into one district where we
also with the San Antonio Police Department. This
Uh-oh.
critical incident.
I'm sorry, I don't know why this is doing it.
Oh, so anyway, yeah. So we deal with a different appeals court than Texas deals with, and their appeals court is pro death penalty, and our appeals court, the federal is anti death penalty.
We can't even seem to get in California. We can't even get rid of the daylight savings time, and we voted out. It's tough. So I mean, definitely, how are we going to handle an issue that crazy?
Yeah,
you know.
Mark, let's cover that poor lady that was scammed out of $300,000 on a romance dating site.
Oh, did Mark freeze up on us now? No, he's still there.
Did we lose Mark?
I don't know. I see him just sitting there. He hasn't moved, either that or he's become very, very stoic in his old age. Oh, okay.
Mark,
well, I know he clicked on that. He clicked on that one video where we were good to go, and then I think we lost him. I don't know if that's the case. We'll probably be ending the show. There goes Mark.
There he goes.
Bye, Mark. I don't know. I don't know if we're still on. If we're still on, hi everybody. How you doing?
Let me go.
We're
back here now.
You still there, Mark?
I guess. I don't know. Everything. My whole computer resetted.
Let's go to that poor lady that was scammed out of $300,000.
You know, I clicked on the video and it wasn't there, Steve. It's been removed.
That's what happened. No. I tried to find it too. That's what I was telling you before the show. I was clicking on it. That was the same one. I couldn't find that one either.
Oh, well, I'll have to fix that. But what happened, Mark, is this lady is
butchering scam.
She was recently divorced and decided to dip her toe in the dating pool by going on one of these dating websites and met somebody she thought was her dreamboat come true, and it turned out that she was being catfished. She had the guy's picture on a passport. She had his picture on a driver's license, allegedly that he sent her, and eventually talked her out of sending him $300,000 on some story that he was building orphanages for children somewhere. I'm not sure what his scam was, but he was able to talk her out of sending him $300,000, her entire life savings. And this is not the first case. I don't know if you're aware that someone years ago had stolen Scott's picture. Scott had done some modeling for a friend of ours who was doing a romance magazine, and she needed a model, and Scott did some modeling for her, and somebody took his pictures off of her website and was catfishing women on a dating website.
Yeah, you go at that story.
No, you know what? It was Steve called me, but luckily
I remember what happened.
I called, didn't speak any English at all. So Steve goes, "Okay, I don't. No, you have not been talking to Scott, because Scott doesn't speak that fluent of Spanish."
Yeah, we all got to do reverse images of ourselves to make sure someone's not using the profiles. But no, that happens a lot. As a private investigator, I get calls from guys. I told you guys a story about the guy who called me about the girl. He says, "My fiance, I want to make sure she's legit." And I go, "Okay, when did you last meet her?" "Oh, I've never met her. We just talk online." And I don't even ever got off the consultation phone call with the guy. I've solved it all right there. And then, when's the last time you did a video call with her? "Oh, her camera's broken."
Okay.
So give me the info. Send me some pictures of her. You got pictures of her? Yeah. And while I'm talking, I'm doing a reverse Google. I'm doing a reverse Google search on the images, and which he didn't do. And there's just pictures of a known porn star. And I said, "Do you know any woman by the name of so-and-so?" And he goes, "No." And I said, "Okay, well, Google that name." So he Googles the name, which is of this porn star. And then here comes hundreds of pictures of his fiance, all in different images, as you can imagine.
Uh-huh.
And you can just feel this guy just devastated on the other side of the line. You can just hear the exhale. At that point, he knew. I think he had sent her like $4,000 to $5,000 wired. He actually got off kind of cheap, depending on some of these people, like the lady you're talking about, right?
Right.
Well, you know,
And
Mark, the scam
and
on me.
she was targeting herself to the MAGA crowd guys, because this guy was a total Trump supporter, and there's pictures of her on the website all wearing like Make America Great Again hats. So she was targeting guys that were into that. And right away, I called my brother. I go, hey, you need to be aware of the scam, right? You know, and you just gotta, they prey on people's loneliness, you know, and you just got, pick butchering. You know, the DA here, the assistant DA here in Santa Clara County, Erin West, I think her name is. She's the one, Shamrock. I think she's the one that is leading the charge on this what they call pig butchering, and it's been going on for years.
Yeah, in the situation with me, when Steve was talking to the girl on the phone, and she had all kinds of pictures of me, but the sister found me doing Google searches and found me in Fugitive Watch, ended up calling Steve. And the scam there was, this guy apparently was building pipelines somewhere, doing whatever, and he convinces this girl, this woman, that he's going to move there. They're going to get married. They're going to buy a house. So then he says, hey, look, I'm going to be leaving. I'm going to send you, I'm going to send some stuff over to you, because I don't want to open up a bank account here. And if you could just hang on to my checks and stuff. And he would tell her to open up these packages, and there would be letters in there for her. And in there were all these uncashed checks for a lot of money. Well, they were all fake checks. He just wanted her to see them. The scam was, he's on his way to go meet with her. He got robbed. He got mugged. They took his wallet. They took his passport. He needed like $5,000 to replace his plane ticket and all this stuff. Then he hits her for another $5,000, and then another $10,000. And then the sister's telling her, look, you know what? Something's wrong here. And that's when she found me on Fugitive Watch and called Steve.
And she's like, why is the guy in the Target Masters ad not able to defend himself?
Yeah. Yeah. So,
right. So that was the clue. That was the first clue. Why couldn't this guy, who's a badass with a pistol, not able to defend himself?
Yeah. So Steve's like, dude, there might be warrants out for your arrest. You better be careful, man.
If you're a fan of old school Fugitive Watch, you know what I'm talking about with the Target Masters ad.
Apparently, Mark, they're in the news story that we can't see right now. They interview the investigator, and she says that there is an epidemic of loneliness, and in the United States, and which just is a target-rich environment for these scamsters. You know, people that want to take advantage of people's loneliness and dip into their bank accounts.
Carmen and I are going to go to the tavern right after this and cheer people up.
Oh, I'll bet. You start a fight for me? Are you there?
So
I'll be signing autographs at the tavern later tonight.
So we at Fugitive Watch want to warn the public to please be careful when you're on these dating sites, and it's a red flag once somebody starts asking you to send them money.
Well, listen, we're done because you guys can't see, but my other two screens are totally frozen. All I can do is I got the production screen up.
Okay.
I can't even play anything else if I wanted to. I don't know. They're both locked. They're both frozen. Luckily, this is working. But I think we got a lot done. But Scott, you are now cutting videos onto YouTube, right?
I am. I reinvigorated our YouTube site, which was, I went back and we had a couple different sites. The one that I'm currently working on, I think our videos go all the way back to like 2007 or 2008, and then up to the most recent ones that I'm doing now. So people don't have to tune in and watch a whole show. I try to edit it up, cut it up, and put some interesting stuff and some up to date news that's going on right now.
So we had one video on our Fugitive Watch page, when I first started working with you guys around 2008, I think it was, we did a story on the 7-Eleven stabbing on the east side, Steve. And I think that's got over 1 million or 2 million views or something like that.
I think it's at like 1.8 or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
It'd be interesting if we could maybe reach out to the people in that video and find out whatever happened with that case. It'd be interesting to revisit it.
Steve and I were talking about
let's
that.
let's look into that.
So
that would be
call San Jose PD, talk to their, have them dust off the old file, find out exactly if everybody was caught, if that was ever.
I can't remember if we had suspect names or I remember the officer came on and she was interviewed and the detective and
it was a whodunit.
It was a whodunit. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But the guy, I think there was a witness at the 7-Eleven or someone at the 7-Eleven might have gone on camera.
Yeah.
Maybe we could find them.
7-Eleven and King and Flanagan, I believe.
You should bring up the YouTube. Can you bring up the YouTube site and you should bring it up and show it.
No, I can't bring everything right now, but but yeah, no, I don't go to that one. I go to the one at Story and King. Buy my 12-pack.
Oh, is that where you get your 12-pack?
My 12-pack, yeah. Yeah. Go right there.
What, Trulies?
Yeah, I do Trulies now. Yeah, when I was a highway patrol officer, I used to pull in there and count how many guys walk in and buy 12 packs of beer. That's why I know those places are successful. I counted like 12 packs coming out in like 6 minutes one time. That was one every 30 seconds. So it's just lining up buying beers, right?
Oh, that's a gold mine.
Yeah, it is a gold mine. All right, guys. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll be back here next week, 7:00 Monday night. And you can follow us on fugitive.com, but check out the Instagram page at Fugitive Watch, but also check us out on YouTube, which is what you're watching this on now, unless you're on Facebook. And but try to watch us on YouTube. We got some cool stuff going on there. Right, Steve? Scott?
Okay, you on?
All right.
Well,
All right.
wait, hang on 1 second here. Let's remind everybody that any of the fugitives or suspects you have seen on any of our platforms are to be considered by law enforcement to be extremely dangerous. Do not make any attempt to arrest, apprehend, or detain them, and they are to be considered innocent unless proven guilty in a court of law.
Whatever.
Okay.
All right, Scott. Anything else, Scott?
Nope.
All right, Steve.
All right.
They are innocent until proven guilty. All right. I'll talk to you guys later.
Okay. Good night.
Bye.
Bye-bye.